So we thought we'd give you a shop van demo tour. So isn't it always the way whenever you come to, well, if you've got a house and you put your house up for sale, it's always the best, it's finished just before you sell it. But it kind of is always the way with one of the THQ vans. These vehicles for us are constant development vehicles, as much as this was my daily for quite a while. We use them to develop new parts, to film Mitch Fits videos on, to put lots of things on them, which means they end up getting a lot of toys thrown at them, which makes them super luxury. But I thought what we do is we give you a bit of a tour of this van before, well, it's gonna have to go up for sale because it just sits around not getting used anymore. So it's a real shame for it to sit there looking so pretty without, and it's kind of served its purpose from a development point of view now. The T6.1 has kind of come to the end of us developing. There's a few bits still going on, but we have some other vans for that before we start moving on to the T7. So while it's here, let's show you around and let's show you some of the work that we did to this van. So starting around the front here, so this van has always been known as AT6.1 low or AT61 low because that was the number plate. This plate has also been on my previous van that was on the front cover of EWT, and I'm sure we did a video walk around of that one, but we'll put a link to the description and show you the magazine cover of that plate. Whether we keep that plate or whether it goes with the van, undecided yet. We may do another low T6.1 in the future, so we'll see. So the first thing you'll see, so this ground is pure grey, so I ordered this to spec. Bit about the spec, I wanted the 150 DSG, wanted pure grey this time round. Usual nice features inside, heated seats and bits like that. So you'll see from this, and you may have seen it in a previous video, this has got the new GTT front bumper on it, which I think looks absolutely stunning. It's by far my favourite look this vehicle's had, and it's had a few looks over the years. Got the THQ gloss black upper grille in there. On the front here, love or hate thing, it's a chameleon tint we had to put on that. It gets loads of comments, people love it, people hate it. I actually quite like it. I like from inside there's a slight tint without it being too dark. On the top there, you've got the Solo sun strip as well. Love a sun strip me. Cut out a little hole there for the sensors, but yeah, I do love a sun strip on a vehicle. Tend to put them on everything, not for everybody again, but this is my van and that's what I decided to do. Over the side here, we've got the Transporter HQ smoked side repeaters. And this van came with factory LED headlights. If I'd have had the choice, I wouldn't have done that, but that's just how this one came, because I would have fitted the new THQ T6.1 lights in because they're brighter than these actually, but still like the look of the genuine ones anyway. So wheel wise, it's fairly obvious that the wheels are pretty unusual on this. So these are Navis Chopper two-piece forged staggered wheels. So they're 20-inch wheels. I think they're a 9 and a 10.5 from memory, or maybe a 9 and a 10, but they're two-piece forged, so they're brushed rose gold with polished slips and exposed hardware. Without doubt my favourite wheel I've ever had on a Transporter, and I've had lots of wheels. In fact, this van has probably had 20 sets of wheels on it already. We'll show you some images of some of the wheels it's had over the time, but it's tend to be used quite a lot whenever a new Navis wheels come out. We put it on for demo purposes. It was kind of the vehicle we used for all those. But yeah, these are without doubt my favourite. Whether they stay on the van when we sell them, I don't know. We might put some cast wheels on it just to make it cheaper for the end user. So I'll just take you around the side of the van. So it was actually originally a panel van. We'll go inside afterwards, but you can see it's been combi converted. Externally had to be the camper glass flush sliding windows, didn't want recess, didn't want anything else, it had to be flush sliders, so we waited a while. This had seats in for a while without windows because I was waiting for the final camper glass flush sliding windows, and as soon as they were here they went in. So camper glass flush sliding windows. Coming around the back, you can see here it's a short wheelbase. On the top here you have our stealth spoiler. Not a massive spoiler fan, wanted it to kind of stay a bit more subtle, but we worked on the design of this stealth spoiler, so it's just that little bit smaller and not quite as in your face as some of the other spoilers. Horses for courses, but I particularly like that style of spoiler. Wanted the rear to remain windowless. I like the whole look of a panel van. I needed to have a combi, but I wanted to keep the rear as a solid window. The thing you'll notice from the back here is it's got this badge. So this is off a T7 multivan. They're not a straight fit, they require a little bit of work, but really wanted to add that new VW logo to this instead of the original one. So yeah, that's a badge of a T7 multivan. Well, previous van we changed this, but we kept this the same. So it's original recess, it's just got that shorter number plate to be able to kind of just spell out that AT61 low. Lights wise, so these are the Transporter HQ T6.1 style T6 lights, but full LED with the sequential indicators. And then down the bottom here is one of the stealth flaps. This was all installed for the sake of a video, but really grew to like it, and the options that it gave us at the back there. I'll show you what's on the inside in a minute, but 240 plug socket here, and then you've got a scan strut, USB and USB-C connector under there as well, all hidden nicely behind the stealth flap. So externally, if we just come back around this side, obviously this van's super low. So this is sitting on the very first, I think, prototype Solo air suspension that we did. So Solo air suspension, it has H&R anti-roll bars under there, all the management's under there as well. This one's actually on Airlift 3P. We didn't have our own solar management then, so that's still on that from then. And it's got twin quiet, the Solosh compressors, called Solosh because they are so much quieter than everything else on the market. So let's take you inside. So if we open up the back, standard combi conversion in the back there, we managed to get hold of one of the original one-piece rubber floors, which are really hard to find. Wanted it to look OEM, but also they're really well soundproofed. We went to town on the soundproofing of this one. I think that appeared in one of the videos. So this is soundproof to death. The sides, the floor and everything is mega. Over the top probably, but it is really nice and quiet in there. Carpet lined in our THQ anthracite carpet. Again, I think that appeared in the video. On the back here, you've got one of our wider threshold covers, particularly popular because they've got this kind of lift at the side, which just covers more of the area from the join between the two. And then under here, you've got one of the fold out flaps. You see that's a bit grubby, but just dead handy, protecting that bumper when you're getting stuff in and out the back, whether you're doing a tip run or sticking bikes in the back. You may have seen this van used for, it gets used quite a bit for biking. So one of the seats comes out and we have one of the bike rack attachments that goes in that. If you've not seen it, it's in a previous video, but we'll put some clips up of that as well. So that folds away nicely. That's all on Velcro, so it can be removed and washed if you want it to, and stored away under there. So the other side of the Stealth Power, we've just got a little power bank, loads of different types of power banks on the market, but this one here is plugged in. That just gives us access to, that's constantly connected to Ignition Live, so as long as the vehicle's driving along, it's trickle charging it, and then the power to that goes to those sockets there. Dead handy for things like pumping up bikes, charging e-bikes, or just Mitch was making a cup of tea the other day and we had a power cut off the back there. Up the top here on the tailgate, we've got the chair pods, again, all featured in a video when they first released the chair pods. Great bit of kit, forget they're there sometimes, but yeah, Van Shades made these chair pods. It's just nice to know wherever you go, you've always got two seats with you, and I just forget they're there, but super handy. And that's finished in the black plastics. They do them in the two. Originally had one of the pale grey ones in, but we wanted the black plastics to match up with what we've done in the front. So to be able to handle the weight of the chair pods, we also have the THQ upgraded tailgate struts. They are 1,250 Newton meters. It just means that they can handle the weight of these chair pods without them collapsing on you. Quite often if you've got a bike rack or various bits on the back, or loads of sound deadening or speakers in the back, you can find that your tailgate falls back down again. So the extra struts allow you to do that. If you look in the back here briefly, so in the back here, kept the rear without windows, wanted to keep that panel van look at the back. Fully carpet lined, as I said. We've got Alpine rear speakers in speaker pods just here. Triple seat in the back, so I wanted the ability to be able to remove individual seats as I could, so I wanted to go for the 3 singles. Great for, like I said previously, for the bike rack. If you want to take those out, you can take one out or the other one out, and I'll show you the fronts of those in a minute, but they're particularly special, and they're trimmed in Solo Blue. Had to be Solo Blue, had to be that colour. Was a bit unsure because it's quite vibrant, but actually when it all came together, I was really pleased with the finish and how it came out. So up on the ceiling here, this bit's pretty special. Never really showcased this a lot, but so we've done Twinkling Star headliners before in a few vans. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time, but I'd asked Mitch whether he could do it for me, and agreed. And then I said to him, well, can you do not just the rear, but can you do the cab line? And he was like, yeah, I can do that. It's not going to be easy, but I'll do it. And I said, while you're there, you can make the stars go down the A-pillars as well, because nobody's done that before. And he was like, challenge accepted, I'll get on and get it done. So good old Mitch. Twinkling Star headlining, it's multicolour, you can change the colours. It also has that shooting star in it, and the shooting star shoots across and then goes down the driver's A-pillar, just for effect. It's just a little bit elaborate, but I really liked the finish of that. And then when the star's not on, or when the star's on, you can add the halo as well. So that's single cob lighting, so a nice bright LED light that goes around there if you want lighting, as opposed to the subtleness of the twinkling stars. Right, so moving around the front, the outside looked pretty special, the rear looked pretty special, so we wanted the front to look pretty special. So really unusual to see this. I don't think I've seen anybody else do this, but this has Caravelle lower door plastic. So generally they're light grey plastics on a T6.1, but we wanted dark plastic, so Caravelle plastics, and where they were finished in like a brushed metal, we covered them in genuine Dynamica. So there's quite a lot of Dynamica throughout this vehicle. The reason why I say genuine Dynamica is I'm not a fan of that kind of stretchy fake suede stuff. For me, that has too much of a pile. It's obvious that it's the fake suede, and also its UV tolerance is really bad, so they tend to fade. So this had to be genuine Dynamica. So there's quite a lot of that throughout the vehicle, just subtle details where we wanted to hide the metal trim. Dashes also have a Caravelle, so it's the lower black plastics. It's had a Digi dash upgrade, so I went over to the guys at Professional Retrofits and they fitted that for me. So full digital dash with the sat nav, and the gloss black plastics throughout, and then more Dynamica finishing on the inside just to match it all up, where there was bits on the caravel trim I wasn't particularly keen on with the kind of metal finish. Audio wise, it's got the Alpine Adventure kit throughout, so it's got the A-pillar and the door card kit, and it also has the subwoofer that's underneath the seat, which sounds really good. My last van had mega audio in it. I wanted to go a bit more subtle with this one, but super impressed with how good this turned out, with basically just a speaker tweeter upgrade, rear Alpine speakers and that subwoofer as well. So the A pillars, B pillars, cab lining and the rear lining are all finished in that Dynamica, and as I said, you've got your twinkly star throughout it all. Yeah, twinkly star down the A pillars, and you've also got the shooting star that makes its way down this A pillar. In the door card here, you've got a little subtle detail really just for us. So as I said, this has got airlift management in it. Airlift because back then we didn't have our own solar management out, but Mitch very nicely crafted me a little controller as well. So I've got my electric gate button just there. So it's all built into one, so it's always there along with the airlift controller. The seats in this are also pretty special. So these are Golf GTI Recaro wingbacks. Again, these are heated, they work with all the OEM controls. These are also finished in the Solo Blue Napa leather. Stunning finish, super comfortable, really like them. But one of my favourite details of this whole van is the thing that put me off having wingbacks historically is ordinarily they come out of a car that has a centre console here. So as much as you have plastics on the side of wingbacks, here it tends to all be exposed and you can see all the rails and everything. And I just didn't like it, and I put it in and I liked the seats, but all I could see was this mechanism. And I know people just put up with it, but it bothered me too much. So I tasked Mitch with making me a cover. So Mitch custom designed these pieces here, 3D printed them all and then trimmed them all in Dynamica to match the back of the seats. It just looks very OEM. It's finished the same as the back of these seats because they're all Dynamica, and it just means it just has a much nicer finish and just hides all those mechanisms under there. So finally in the back, so as I said, this van started its life as a panel van until we converted it into a combi, but it needed to be done to combi spec. So all the correct floor anchors bolted in the OEM way with the rubber floor that I wanted. This is actually a Transporter HQ deeper combi step as opposed to the OEM one. I preferred the look of that and the shape of it. It has the combi rear mat just there. Now this also had a bench front, so it had a single and a double. So where we removed the double and put the Recaro in, we've put our seat blanks in between the two there just to cover that hole where you would have holes in the floor if you originally had a double seat. They're really popular for anybody that's putting a single seat in. To fit these, obviously we had to create adapter plates, and they ended up becoming an item that we sold, and we sold lots of them. So these have the THQ adapter plates that allow you to fit any VAG, or most VAG seats onto a Transporter base. So I've really enjoyed having this van. This has been, I don't know, my third T6.1 and dare I say probably my last. I don't know, we'll see what happens with the T7. But this platform, this T5 to T6.1 really made our business and where we developed and where we got our name for all the crazy and unique things that we do here. Already excited to start on the T7. We have a Transit Custom here, as you've seen from a previous video, that's given us the opportunity to get on those early. But we're definitely going to miss this and this platform. I'm going to miss this van, but you can't keep them all, and it can't just sit around the yard not being used. I think this is a couple of years old at least, I think, this van, and it's got 11,000 miles on, and that's including us going over to Europe in it several times, so it just doesn't get used anymore. So it's time for it to move on. But a hell of a lot of work gone into this. The beauty is, as I say, we just develop parts constantly, and this has kind of been the donor to develop the parts on and then be fitted on for the sake of the YouTube videos that we make for you guys. So whoever gets to own this vehicle will have an absolute cracker, that's for sure. We wanted to do this kind of van tour video because we did it previously and it was popular. We might do it again with some of the other vans. So let us know in the comments below if you want to see any of our other vehicles, and we will do that. As always, we'll try and keep you up to date with what's going on in developments across all the vehicles. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do hit that like button. It means a lot. It means YouTube shows it to more people. Share it with anybody else that's just interested in what can be done to a T6.1. And as always, thanks for watching.